Robertson County School Board will now come to order. Please silence all your cell phones and electronic devices and join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. We have some students from Cheatham Park Elementary School who are here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so would you please stand?
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. First of all, we're privileged tonight to have with us students from Cheatham Park Elementary School, and we have Ms. Hyde, their principal, as well. She's going to help me with some certificates. But I'd like for you to each tell the board members your name and what grade you're in, okay? Go ahead, start with you.
I'm Jack Dempsey, and I'm in second grade. Harlan Moore, and I'm in third grade. Carla Vasquez, and I'm in third grade. Audrey Lewis, and I'm in fourth grade. Audrey Burks, and I'm in fifth grade. Mary Down, and I'm in fourth grade. Haley Moore.
Very good, very good. And if you'll turn around, and we're going to introduce you to the audience, and we're going to present you with a certificate of appreciation. To Kaylee Andrews. Thank you. Right there. Jack Dempsey. Harley Moore. Carla Vasquez. Audrey Lewis. Audrey Burris. Mariah Dowling. Taylor Wilson. And Ryan Hernandez was supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it. So let's give all these students.
Mr. Davis, would you please read our mission and vision statements?
Students and their achievement must be the focus of our every meeting, our every plan, our every decision. The mission and vision statements of the Robertson County School System are the expressions of what we believe and what we expect. We believe our mission is to ensure each student is prepared to succeed in life. Our vision is that Robertson County Schools will enable all students to reach and exceed high academic and career standards while empowering them to succeed in a technologically advanced and culturally diverse society.
Board members, you have before you an agenda for tonight. What is your pleasure on the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? The motion's been made by Jeff White and seconded by Lyle Payne to accept the consent agenda as it is presented. All those in favor make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes and we have an agenda. Next, we have recognition of student, teacher, and school achievements. I guess that would be Dr. Locke.
Members of the board, tonight we are here to honor a select group of individuals from Greenbrier High, and I believe they're out in the hallway right now. So I would ask that members of the Greenbrier High School wrestling team please come in and stand in front of the audience for them. Come on in. Crunch up. There we go. Get small. Make two lines. And we also have with them tonight their coaches, Coach Aldridge and Coach Reynolds. Am I leaving anyone out? I'm sorry. And I'm sorry.
I'm Chris Hall.
Okay. We're very pleased to recognize this group of individuals because this year the Greenbrier High School had students that made it to all the way to the state tournament. And if I can find my notes, here it is. And Dr. Osmond helped me with this. In the past, Greenbrier's had students that go to the state individually but never medaled until this year. 4 students from the Greenbrier High School went to the state as individuals: Wyatt Baxter, Hunter Hall, Cole Matherly, and Tanner Lynch. And I'm pleased to announce that Wyatt and Cole both won their 3rd place in their respective weight class. Wyatt Baxter was 3rd in the 170-pound weight class. Would you come forward, Wyatt? And also Cole Matherly finished 3rd in the state in the 106-pound weight class. And I think this is a testimony to not only these 2 young men, but also to the entire team to do so well and to represent Greenbrier High so well. Also, have been noted, it is to be noted that 3 students were named to the All-Mid-State Dream Team for wrestling, and that would be Wyatt Baxter, Cole Matherly, and Tanner Lynch. So, Tanner, and Coach Aldridge, if you would come forward and accept this on behalf of the Board of Education in recognition of the fine job that this group of young men have done. That's good. Now you can. Okay, here we go. Look at the kid.
Here we go. 2 and 3. Okay. Go green.
Coach Aldridge, did you want to, anybody want to say anything on behalf of
Yeah, I think that I'd really like to really show that these kids, not only they work hard on the mat, they work hard off the mat. We have a great group of kids. They push one another and work really hard in the room too, in the classroom. So that's something that we strive to push these kids to. Academics come first, so and they do a good job of that. So very proud of them there, and thanks to our administration. Dr. Osborne and Greenbrier High School is not anything short of awesome as far as support for our wrestling program. So thanks to them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, we will have a report from Dr. Cash on Crestview Elementary School.
First, I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Dickerson and to Ms. Jones for assisting in getting the whole process of furniture together. We did survey the teachers to see what types they wanted in their classrooms. Then we met with 3 groups, and if you will look, we have the 3 bids, Ernie Marsh, GDI, and School Specialty. Those were the bids that we started with. And Ernie Marsh is the one that we went with. We finally ended up adding some pieces that, once the bid came in lower than what we expected, we added some pieces that you'll find in the back, which then put our total to $239,068.42 for the furniture for Crestview. That was basically, no bells and whistles. We went with the medium grade. It does have all of the warranties with it, so we're very excited to have the opportunity to furnish the school with quality furniture and well suited for the needs that are in the classroom. This does not reflect playground equipment nor library books, so those are still pieces that we have to work with. Any questions?
It does not reflect technology piece.
No, not the technology piece. The computer tables for the classroom are in here, but the technology piece is not in here. Jane wanted some of my playground money, and I told him no.
We have a contingency fund built into this contract in case something was wrong and needed to correct it. We are using those funds because there's not going to be any change orders at this point. And there's about $500,000 that are supposed to in that line item.
What about, I keep bringing this up, what about the technology piece?
Mr. Marshall has put together a proposal, but he asked for the whole $500,000. He's not going to need that much. And 2 of the computer labs are built in the school. They were already designed in the original contract. We will be ordering new computers for some portions of them. And some of the teachers will be bringing their teacher computer with them, which is already relatively new. We also have a lab over at Bransford that is a Title I lab. It is a lab that has to follow the students. And of course, it will also go to that school as far as the equipment. And it's relatively new. So we'll be buying somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 new computers for that building.
Mr. Converse, we are also in the technology plan. We have everything they need as far as the teaching portion of it. They have their Mobies, everything will be there. One lab will have completely new computers. The plan as it exists right now is to have one new student computer in the classrooms themselves, and they will bring a computer with them as they come. So we'll start with one new, and then the teachers, the decision will be made as far as money and things go with Mr. Marshall, what the teachers will use, whether it will be a laptop or an iPad or what portion they will need for their teacher station.
Okay, I mean, I got it, and that sounds good, but let's do it right. We've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to put crap in a new building. I mean, I know it's a Robertson County way sometimes, but, let's do it right. We don't want to skimp on technology.
And their projectors are state-of-the-art projectors, they're short throw projectors. They're going to have a nice projection system, rear screen projector in the gym for programs that they want to do. So they're going to have more probably than anyone has in Robertson County at this point in the elementary school.
Okay.
Any more questions or concerns? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have RCEA, Nikki Fields.
Don't have anything tonight.
Okay. We will move to personnel reports.
And Madam Chairman, members of the board, you have the personnel report in your packet. We had a total of 20 personnel actions on the certified side. 3 of those are leave of absences. 11 have announced their retirement. And we've had 4 resignations and 2 new hires. On the certified side of the house, we also had, classified side of the house, we had 20 personnel actions, 2 legal absence, 2 retirements, and 16 new hires. Subject to your questions, that completes the report.
Okay, any questions on those? We'll move right along to the expense comparison report.
The expense comparison report is also in your packet on page 5A. You will see that the revenues are at 57.4% last year at this time, and they're 57.19% at this year. Expenditures are 54.22 as compared to 52.52 this year. Breaking down the revenues into property tax, we have 57.20% of our property tax in. That was as of the end of January. It's much better than that right now because February is the end of the tax collection month. Sales tax is at 50.45%, and we're right on track, and we should exceed our sales tax budget this year. Electricity, we've used a little more, and it's no surprise to anyone, I don't think, due to the weather, but it's at 61.94% of the budget expended. Diesel fuel is at 54.69%, and gasoline is at 88.55%. Last year, you see that gasoline was 123, but that was because of some items that were miscoded. I think I've told you all that in previous reports. The insurance is at 55.23% as compared to 55.77. No surprises in our expenditures or our revenues at this time. Subject to your questions, that completes the report.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, then we'll move to approval of the budget amendment for general funds.
There is a budget amendment in your packet, and we had a snafu in our budgeting process this year that neither I nor Sheila or anyone else knew about, including the finance department. Greenbrier has a SRO that we did not pay last year. They had their books audited and they caught that mistake. Now, the reason we didn't put them in this year's budget, because we were going off what we had been billed for in the previous year, and their bill was not in there. So we didn't have an invoice. And we came up short. So I'm asking for a budget amendment so we can pay that bill for last year and also bring our SROs this year.
Is there a motion to approve the budget amendment?
Move for approval of amendment to the general fund budget.
Okay, motion's been made by Mr. Crockett. Is there a second?
I'll second
Second by Mr. Payne. Any discussion?
Who missed it on last year? Did Greenbrier miss it or did we miss it?
We didn't get invoiced, therefore we didn't include it in the budget. Had we been invoiced and known that we were to put that in there, we would have had that budget. The county finance office did not get an invoice.
So does that leave us owing last year since we were not invoiced?
It does.
You've been invoiced now.
The auditor.
Just invoiced after the, where we invoiced after the date.
Yes, we do. It is a legitimate debt. This is not any, just move some money around to make this happen. Those other items you see in there are just cleaning up the budget, line items throughout the budget. Yes, if I had known that we'd have to invoice, we would consider it in this year's budget.
What did you put at the line item regrown this year?
But,
Do you remember what you put?
yeah, no, I don't. I didn't believe anything. It didn't have any of that. We now. But I've got the amount.
Like I said, I know I give you a number.
Yeah, but we didn't, we went to the invoices, to see what we had spent the previous year. That's normally how you put your budget together. You look at the last 3 years and the expenditure. The way I understand it, and Sheila's here, most of the time, they send those bills directly to finance. And finance sends them over here. If we didn't get a bill, finance can do it. And I talked to Jamie, she said, it's pretty done. And that's not our fault that we didn't get the bill, but we still, it's a legitimate debt. They did do the work.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I was just looking over what the that's my hesitation, and, I mean, because I know there's a whole lot more that's being transferred other than just that salary.
That's the big part of the salary. The big, most of the money's coming from those other items of the building for that. But we do have some minor,
The 72,130, is that what we owe
that's what
the
we
city
have.
of Greenbrier?
100 cents what we owe.
That's last year and this
And
year?
this year,
Okay.
correct.
There was 20 already in there.
See, we put that in there, if you recall, because we wanted to boost that one SRO's time. That was all that's ever mentioned to me. Nobody,
I remember. No, I give you the name of the, I mean, I give you the exact cost of what it would be.
I'm talking about as far as the total, that, this is not just in Greenbrier. When we budget for SROs, we budget for the sheriff's department. And I will tell you, one of the things that happened last year that we did catch, and that was White House had at one time had an SRO. But it was paid through the White House, so they were paid for it. This past year, that person retired, and the sheriff's department picked that job up, and so we're paying them. So that was the only change I was told about.
Question.
Okay, question's been called. All those in favor of the approval of budget amendment for general funds as presented tonight, make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, we'll go next to the approval of Springfield High School fees for the Spanish National Honor Society and softball.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? None. Okay, all those in favor make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes 6-0. Approval of board policies. Dr. Cash.
If you would look, we have 2 second readings. We have policy revision 4.520 is in regards to midterm and final exams. It takes out our weight of the state mandated end of course exams for the average is 25%. And then if you will drop down, it's our final exam exemptions. We are requesting from the board to have an average of an A in the course with no more than 3 excused absences, no more than 6 excused for students on a 7-day period, an average of a B in the course with no more than 2 excused absences and no more than 4 on a 7-period day. Students may not have a combination of more than 5 tardies or early dismissals, and any student who has been suspended in school or out of school is not eligible for exemptions. Students who qualify, they can choose to take the exam, but if they score lower than expected, the resulting exam grade shall not lower the average. And that's for the student who's trying to push their GPA up a little higher by taking the exam. You have questions? I do also have in there, if you will look, that the final decision regarding final exam exemption of any student will be determined by the principal or designee, and that allows the principal to look at individual students as needed.
Any questions on that? Okay, to take both of them at the same time.
In our policy revision 4.712, our second reading is regarding advanced placement. The changes are students must have parent permission to register for an AP course, and the students registering do so with the expectation that they are doing college level courses. And in order to receive AP credit and the 5 rigor points on their final term exam, they must register and take the exam for the course. Students who opt not to take the exam will receive 3 rigor points versus the 5 for taking the class, but their transcripts will show advanced. We are also adding, because of scheduling constraints and the need to secure qualified AP teachers, students and parents should understand that dropping the course or substituting a lower level course will not be possible. And that is a request straight from the principals, because once students get into the classes, they're not used to the rigor in the beginning and they start wanting to drop out. But if they stay in, they typically make it and the teachers really work with them to be successful. But there's a shock on that front end of going in.
heard those two board policy changes on second reading. Is there a motion concerning these?
Motion to approve 4.520 and 4.712.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to approval of mowing contract for Robertson County Schools.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, we had a number of bidders bid on our contract for providing mowing services to each of our schools, and you have a bid tabulation sheet in your packet. The lowest bid was from Darcy's Dreamscapes in the amount of $88,290. This is for 17 cuttings. And then the second lowest bid was from Travis Long's, $95,772. These bids were presented to the Finance Committee this afternoon, at the Finance Committee meeting, and they approved the bid for Darcy's Dreamscapes pending the school board's approval, as that is the lowest and best bid. I did do some checking without those folks today, hadn't heard of them. I talked to the superintendent, neighboring superintendent, where they are also doing some work. They have about 8 of their schools in Sumner County. And they've also been doing some work for some municipalities, such as Gallatin. So I'm going to recommend that we accept that bid because it is a very low bid. I was concerned about it being a bid at first because it was so low, but it might be a program where a family is working together to make a bid possible like that, because the difference between the low bid and the high bid is significant. The high bid was $184,000. And it's very seldom that you see that kind of spread on a bid sheet.
Do we know that they've actually looked at the ground?
Oh, yes, we had a pretty big conference, and Mr. Finch conducted that.
So they were here and they did see it?
Yes, they walked, they're supposed to walk every bit of it. They called me if they had any questions.
Did you just give them a map to, you said they were supposed to call you if they had any questions?
Right.
Did they?
We had the pre-bid meeting. They were supposed to visit every site before bidding. If they had any questions on boundaries or cuts, to call me.
Okay.
They was asked that, the same thing in the bid opening, if everybody had the same stuff.
Is 17 cuts enough to?
Nope.
No.
Well, we even looked at the per cut price, in case we were to have more, and the per cut price for each one of them is still lower than the other bids, so, you know.
At that price, I think you need to go to 19.
But then you'd have, we did not solicit, or we did not advertise for those additional bids. One company decided on their own to put in additional bids, one for 19 cuts and one for 21.
Right.
We did not ask for that, and don't think the county finance committee would entertain that because we did not bid it that way.
What is our present, what's it costing us presently,
It's
Mr. Jimmy?
$130,000.
How many times have they cut it?
17.
They've got 17.
And that's about 3 to 5 short of what it should be
Yes.
in the spring and fall.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad a lot of times. It's something that can be done a whole lot better.
Well, you can add them on this per cut if you want, if you decide you need an additional cut
Where we get the money.
for the price.
Where we get the money.
Well, I mean, you have to budget it for it.
Was the house, that property area, was
No, it wasn't. We're trying to get rid of that house.
well, we still have to mow the lot, whether you got the house or
Yeah,
not.
We did not put that in there this time.
And this does not include Crestview either.
Because we didn't advertise it, we're not ready for that yet. We'll have to bid on that separately. Probably won't need anything this year anyway.
Are they seeding Crestview or are they sodding?
They'll sod some of it and they seeded some of it. They seeded a portion down the hill that they are supposed to sod the majority of it.
Do you think they'll have to be cut this year?
get paid one time. There's not much left because all of the area between the buildings is asphalt. No grass there. The only portion of that was stripping back.
How many acres is being mowed at White House Heritage Stuff? You know? You know how many acres are being mowed at White House Heritage? That's a big field. It's all that big numbers.
They don't even have White House Heritage any bush hogging, and I know there's several acres back there that should be. Really?
What's called large tractor finish areas.
But that just says Coopertown, Joe
There's no
Burns.
White House there, and I don't know how they did that previously, what chalk that or what they did. But that would probably be cheap. This bid is good, it's cheap.
Stoney, are they cutting any of that back behind the football fields and all? or
Once you leave the football field, they had been cutting that. There's been an individual up there that's been going back there cutting from time to time.
That's practice. Some of that practice field back there is.
Past the practice.
Behind.
Yeah. And then the coaches have actually been, like, before a football game or something like that, been doing everything with the baseball field and softball field.
I was just talking about the area that hasn't been developed back in that area.
That's not included in the past. In the past, Mr. Billy Ray and his son's been mowing it.
I guess the thing that's sticking out to me is where there's a large difference between the cuts. It's just, I mean, I love the fact that it's that much cheaper. But, do they realize what they're gonna do, and then what are we gonna do if they don't, if they can't pull it off?
If that question was asked at the finance committee, what happens if they cannot fulfill their obligations in the bid? And what you would do is you would have the county attorney write them a letter terminating the contract under the bid specifications, failure to comply. And then you could supplement the work with the next lowest bidder.
Is there any way that we could split this between more than just one contract?
Not on this bid, because this is the way it was bid by the Department of Finance. Winner take all. Now, I talked to some of the other board members, that's how I've done it in previous districts. Like, East would have their bid. Sometimes you get a lot of mom and pop businesses that will take on.
That's a whole lot of responsibility to take on.
We have a single provider now.
How long have you been doing it
And he gets behind.
now? Yeah, he does. How long has business been in business?
These bids are good for 1 year, and you can renew them up to 5 years, 1 year at a time, if you choose.
No, he ain't counting backwards on this.
Oh,
On this person that won the bid. How long have they been here? They just this year or last year? Or?
They've been doing work in Sumner County. I called today to check on it, because I was concerned about the difference between the first two bids. They how great that difference was. So I called to check on them, and I called also the superintendent over there, who has employed them or engaged them to do the work for 8 of their schools.
Or they,
They divide theirs up like Mr. Herb was talking about.
how long is this contract? 2 years?
1 year.
1 year.
And it's renewable up to 5 years, 1 year at a time.
Is there an add-on to it?
Not unless you change the scope of work.
So there's no automatic 3% jump each year?
No, there's no CPI in this
But at
one.
the end of this 1 year contract, we can go back and bid like we were.
You can bid it again you can bid it annually, yes,
But
sir.
I'm talking about, yeah, in a different way, or we're breaking it up possibly, if that comes to, okay.
You've heard the recommendation. What is your pleasure?
Is it too late for them to rebid it in a quadrant for the finance department to break it down? over 3 or 4.
Well, my question is, why has it been the finance? I
Yeah.
mean, we haven't.
Finance does all of our bidding under the 81 Act. like this.
Right, but they approve it before it comes to.
Well, I had them approved pending the board approval.
Because they just
That's
opened
putting the
this
cart before
afternoon.
the horse,
Well,
though.
they were meeting tonight, and that's, you know,
So when we.
they were open, and they asked to bring it to them, for them to look at. They have the same questions y'all had.
I don't know, I tried Googling it, I can't find it.
We did too.
I can't find that thing anywhere.
Do we have any more information about the next lowest bidder?
Finance not going, finance.
They have a
gonna tell you
great
you gotta take
website.
the lowest bid.
What's that?
Finance gonna tell you gotta take the lowest bid.
Why are we even having this conversation?
I
We
will-
can turn it down and rebid it.
Right, and rebid it in what, I mean, in sections.
I will tell you, I got the background information today from finance, and it looks pretty good. If they're as good at mowing grass as they are putting out productions like this, it'll be pretty good. Sort of like the cake, it all and always.
I've been concerned with one person taking care of it since we had, I mean, 5 or 6 years ago, we had broke down to 3 or 4 areas, didn't we, Sean? We didn't, and it was working well then.
I'll give you a motion. I'll give you a motion and we can go from there, how about that? Hearing the director's recommendation, I make a motion that we accept the bid of, what is it, $82,790 from,
290,
$88,000.
$88,290.
Gonna add to.
okay, I'm sorry. I got it, yeah, $88,290, from Dreamscapes.
Okay.
Darcy's Dreamscapes.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it just to get it out there, just so we have a discussion. Let me ask again, we absolutely have to take the lowest bidder, we don't have a choice.
You can approve the bid and send it to finance, and the finance committee has the final say on the bids.
So we could say tonight, you know, we could choose to accept a different bid other than Darcy's Dreamscapes.
They would probably want you to come with some good.
No. I'm asking, can we?
You can.
Not should we, can we?
You can.
Okay, so we're not obligated to take the lowest bid.
No, but then yours has to go back to finance.
I got it, I can. I'm not asking should we, I'm saying can we.
You can do whatever you want to.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what the process is.
So my next question then is, what do we know about the next lowest bid? Travis and
You
Lawrence.
want to share with that?
Do we know anything about them, Jimmy?
They have a nice website.
They're in Pleasant View. They do have a website. When we Googled it, it did come up. It is a nice looking website, but I can make a nice looking website.
Can that cut a grass?
I have no idea.
Dreamscape, but Mr. Marshall's filters won't let me get to it, so.
Yeah, I couldn't find one for Darcy's Dream.
I mean, there it is, right there.
Well, there was one in Pennsylvania though, but.
No, this is in Gallatin. No, this is in Gallatin.
Oh, well, I couldn't.
25 gallons.
That's a good way to wait.
I'm kind of like y'all, this doesn't smell right. It's just too low.
1142, highway 25 gallons.
When do we do our first cut? April, that's when it's-
April. The biggest issue that some of them had was where the snow was on the ground, and they couldn't see everything that had and hadn't been mowed.
Yeah.
There we go.
Looks a lot bigger with the snow.
I don't know about that.
No, we do have a motion on the floor.
This bid is good for how long?
You want me to give?
Well, you've said this, so I guess we can discuss now. Is there any way that we could have it rebid by two or three And then we pick or choose that if we wanted 3 or go with this lowest bid.
Here's what you need to do. If you don't want to accept the low bid, you can reject all bids and request that they be rebid in sections as opposed to a winner take all. Now, one person
May win them all.
may win them all, but you could do that.
What would, just thinking out loud, sections, that would be, how would we break those down? I mean, obviously, Greenbrier, East,
I would put East and White House together, Cooper County, Joe Burns together, Springfield together, Watauga, and Springbriar Street together.
could we rebid the number of cuts as well?
You can, you can ask for whatever you like on the specs.
And is there time to do that before the grass gets up to everybody's elbows?
We can ask them to do that and get the bids back before the April board meeting. I think so. I don't think.
When do you think the first cut was gonna be, Jim?
It depends on the weather, but usually it's around the first or second week of April. Is what they have been doing. That's what they have been doing.
It's usually the week of TCAP, and we have to say, please don't know.
Saved us a week there.
Cold weather's holding you back, right?
You mean the test formerly known as TCAP?
It's still TCAP this year.
Did, when they went out, did they have a map of the schools?
No.
How do they know what to mow at Greenbrier High School?
Right. They looked to see what had been mowed before, excluding all fields, because we had that in our pre-bid meeting.
There's another acre at Greenbrier on the other side of the soccer field, practice field, and the football field that nobody would even think belongs to Greenbrier High School. So I mean, things like that's what bothers me is, do they know exactly what they're gonna do? That's, and I wouldn't even have that discussion if it wasn't for the fact that these bids range, there's almost $100,000 between the top bid and the bottom bid. Apparently, there's some folks that don't know what they're bidding on, and some folks are bidding on a whole lot more.
How much was last year's cost?
$130,000.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, that is a big difference, 50,000 less.
41,000. 41,000 is a lot.
Was the budget this year, was it based on kind of a similar figure? But I mean, you know,
Yes, the specs were kind of changed.
okay.
The specs are the same.
No, I mean, when we budgeted the long term.
We budgeted $130,544.
Okay, so we budgeted 130.
And I don't want to read Mr. Darcy's dreamscapes mind either. If they're willing to go to these schools and talk to the principals or those in charge of the areas that need to be mowed and come in here and report to us, knowing exactly what has to be mowed at each school, I would feel a whole lot better about voting for this. But when we're out there looking at snow-covered fields,
Yeah, I'm like you.
I don't think they realize what all of that.
I don't think there's any here.
Well, no, that's not what I asked Madam Chairman, if there are any representatives here from the Dreamscape? Is there a representative?
Is there a
here?
representative from Darcy's Dreamscape? No.
I mean, I see, if I go to the opposite side and I say, okay, we got a good deal on this, and if he screws up, then we just rebid it at that time. He might be saying, hey, I want to get into Robertson County and giving us a real attractive bid so that we can't say no until he gets here, proves himself, and then, once he proves himself, I mean, that's another option that he, you know, but then again, I'm trying to think as the vendor, not as a board member.
The thing that scares me though, too, Stoney, is that if he, I mean, I don't know if he bid off more than he can chew or not, but if he did,
It's a labor.
us saying, well, we'll just back off and take the next highest bidder, and I think it's going to be more complicated than that. I think we're talking about a month or more going by before, the grass doesn't get cut, and then when it finally does again, it looks even
It
worse.
could be.
So that's what kind of scares me.
And if the next lowest bidder has obligations and can't.
Yeah, the next lowest bidder may say, look, I'm already cutting, a hospital or something like that.
And I might use that in the future, that if whoever has the lowest bid, if we maybe could request them to be here the night that they're coming before the board, so that they could answer these questions in person.
Yeah, they can answer these, it really make it a whole lot better. Yeah.
Let me say this, all bidders bid on the same set of specs. They were all given a chance to go to all the schools and survey the scope of work. The lady that is in charge of this company is, she was at the bid opening, along with the other bidders. None of the bidders were disqualified at the bid opening. That's where that occurs, if they're going to have a business license or whatever. All of our paperwork, and I have it here, is in order. In fact, they have the insurance back documents in place, both the workers' comp and the liability, and they believe that they can fulfill their obligation. I was shocked when I saw the price when we were opening the bids, and they said that amount. I said, then something's wrong. But she didn't squinch, because she heard 187 or 80. She heard the other bid open too, 184,000. She was sitting right there when those were read. They were all read aloud. So she heard the high bids and the low bids.
Sure would like to help them. Yeah.
So
I think somebody getting a bid like this, I ought to be sitting out here in the audience. Just like this.
I like the idea of, with the way Alan said, bidding it by districts. Keep a little money close to home maybe too, and spread it out a little bit. Look at some of the smaller companies, maybe a little more accountability, a little more responsiveness.
And they would have a little more pride if they're mowing in their own area.
Yeah,
Take a little more time.
and a couple more cuts too. I don't know if 17, I don't think, I never thought that was enough.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve Darcy's Dreamscapes. You ready to vote on that?
Question.
Okay. All those in favor make it known by saying aye. Opposed, no.
No.
Motion fails. Now,
Can I make a
do you
new
want, I was
motion?
gonna say, where are we gonna go from there?
Can I make a motion that we get Mr. Finch, or
The proper thing to do, as far as legal reasons, is to reject all bids.
can I make a motion to reject all bids that we have at
And
this
ask
present
them to
time?
rebid back.
Have instruct Mr. Finch to rebid by sectionals, come up with 3 or 4.
Do you want 3 or 4?
Oh,
Do 4?
Big forward, big
Four.
White House,
Four.
what we said, yeah.
what we say, Springfield by itself.
Greenbrier, Robertson, Joe Drews, Coopertown, White House. and
White House and East, Chrysler falls in one of those.
Yeah, Greenbrier in there.
And, go ahead with the motion.
How many cuts?
Have I got it?
How many cuts?
Minimum of 19.
19 cuts.
Minimum. Anything else? You want to read that
So,
motion?
would you please? No, I mean, really, it's to reject all bids, right? And you're requesting,
Request to rebid with 4 quadrants with a minimum of 19 bids. 19 molds. 19 molds.
is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Now discussion.
One more question.
Okay.
Does this typically include just cutting the grass, or does it include weed eating and
Weed eating and everything. And I told them they would be taking back fence rows.
yeah, we've been missing some weed eating in the past. Okay.
Can I ask a question? I know in the previous, we had a person who mowed and did a real good job keeping edging by using some type of adjective, is that in or out?
We can put it in, but we have to make it for everybody. I was
I mean,
asked that question.
is that something we're liable for or not liable for if we
edging?
use it?
Roundup.
Roundup?
You can't use Roundup.
You
How?
cannot use
use
chemicals in and around schools when kids are present.
When they're present?
Yeah, but when they're not, I'm talking about
That's
when they're in weapons and section.
But during the summer,
We get a handle on it during the summer, I think we'd be in better shape.
that's,
I'd really rather our folks handle that. I don't trust those folks. They use stuff that's not laced sometimes. I just don't want
but I
to
didn't
do
know.
it. Because your insurance doesn't cover that.
But, you know, they can't do it without approval. It won't come from just me, somebody else.
That's how you control these chain link fences, that's how you control in gravel areas. I mean, you did get a much neater, once school is out, I think it needs to be added. My personal opinion, I use it all the time. Leave it.
That's something I would prefer, maintenance section. Or separately from the mowing, because the people mowing do not have a licensure for to disperse chemicals or even purchase some of those chemicals.
Well, they have to have a pesticide use card to even buy it. So if they've got that card to buy it, they have a license to apply. If they have,
No, they got the card to buy it.
if they got the card to buy it, they've got the license to apply. So, I mean, I don't know whether any of our folks in maintenance has that card to buy it.
I let mine run out.
How, to what?
I let mine run out.
We'll make that a stipulation of your job experience.
Get it certified in that too.
All right. Any other discussion?
Bring that back up.
We got it? Everybody clear with it? Are we ready to vote? Motion's been called. All those in favor make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Okay, update on Crestview Elementary.
Crestview Elementary has lost about 3 weeks of work or construction due to bad weather. I had a meeting last week with the contractor. He tells me that he is not going to claim any calamity days or lost work days. At this point in time, he plans to try to make as many of those up while working weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And he thinks he can still meet the schedule that we initially put in place, which was to complete the building by June 30th. So, and there's not been a lot of work out there this past month. That's about all I can tell you about Crestview.
Okay, you just want to move on to the rest? Whatever else you have.
Okay. New communications. Well, let me begin by saying we had a great dinner this evening with a group of young men and women that are participating in Robertson County Youth Leadership Program. Appreciate Kathy Gunn and her working with those young people, and I think it's a great opportunity to have those students come in and pose questions and learn about what's going on in the school system and why things go on in the school system. It was really a good luncheon, and I appreciate you all taking the extra effort to be here for that, along with the education committee members. I want to tell you that your FFA members made you proud last Friday at the bank. I don't know if Mr. Greg is from the back in the corner there. He and I went up to Montgomery County, and I will tell you that Robertson County's FFA program shines above any and all other FFA programs in the district. So those kids are just absolutely super. And I will, we had 3 high schools participate in that. Springfield, Joe Burns High School, East Robertson High School, and Heritage High School. So, great thing. gave you a couple of documents on your desk just for your information. That's some information the state sends out each year about populations in the district, not demographics, it's about special ed, so all that's confidential to you. The big question in most people's minds today is snow days. We have exhausted all of our snow days. We will not have to make up any days at this point, so there's no need to amend the calendar. However, the weatherman and the groundhog have both forecasted that we will have some additional snow this week. The Commissioner of Education, Commissioner Queen, has put out an email, and I sent it to you, I think, last week, saying that if we were to need some days, that she is willing to waive up to 3 days because the governor declared emergency last week. We may need to apply for it, and we will be applying. I want to remind everyone that tomorrow is an important day for our juniors at all of our high schools. They will be taking the ACT for the first time, and we wish them well on that, and we are expecting our ACT, we have high expectations for our juniors to do well on that test. Lori Smith has been named the new principal for Crestview Elementary School. She is currently the principal of Coopertown Elementary School. I'm expecting great things out of Lori. She has the experience. We interviewed a total of, I think, 5 people. She's sitting there. You want to stand up so everybody knows who you are? Lori. And we congratulate her and good job. The insurance adjuster has been in the district all day, assessing the damage from the ice storm we had last week, the last couple of weeks. And we had some floor damage, some roof damage, some damage to computers, and I don't think he's quite finished yet, tallying up the total losses. But it appears it's going to run around somewhere around $40,000 to $50,000. Biscayne Construction Company mobilized today on the central office project out at the Smith building. And they will begin work immediately, transforming that building into a central office. Brandon Hubbs has been named superintendent of the job. Spring break will take place the week after next. Everybody's excited about that. One of the students asked the question, what happens if we run out of snow days? And I started telling them we'll use spring break. I didn't want to get upset. But we're all looking forward to spring break, and more importantly, we're all looking forward to spring. I want to tell you also that the writing assessment that was scheduled for the last 2 weeks has been pushed forward for 2 weeks. And of course, Dr. Causey is monitoring that data. Subject to your questions, that completes my report.
Any questions? Mr. Crockett, do you have anything?
Only thing I got, the director asked me just to say a word or two. As you know, 2 weeks ago, we did Stay on the Hill, which is our opportunity to go and meet with our legislators. The board of directors did go ahead and meet by a conference call to look at all the bills that are coming up. I think we went through about 1,400 bills that night. And so we did, and I just sent it to you right before the meeting started, the bills that TSBA Board of Directors is supporting, and those that we're opposing. I just sent those to you right before the meeting started to your Robertson County email address. So you should have those. One thing we talked about, and which they're trying to work on, is maybe having a webinar for the board members across the state of Tennessee to log on to, and Lee go through all those, some of those top ones, to see if that would work. Because even when we went through them, the title of a particular bill sounds good until you start reading it. And then when you start reading it, that's when we debated back and forth. And there were several bills that we're taking no position on because we don't see a benefit either way. They did want us to talk about 4 bills, because there's 4 bills that's coming up this week. House Bill 1049 is the school voucher bill. That's coming up this week. TSBA opposes that. House Bill 0758, which is higher education. That requires that if a student is going to have to have, remedial studies in their first semester at school, that the district would pay for that. at the college level. So, and we of course oppose that, but that's coming up this week. There's also 0651, which is a charter school, and it's not against the charter school, it's the way that a parent can request a charter school. And then the last one, we do support removing the requirements that grading policies include heat cap scores. We feel like a lot of these, that should be a board decision, what the board wants to do on a local level, and removing the state and the federal government away from local decisions. Sir, that was bill number 0036, House bill. They also recommended that since we didn't get to go to the Hill, if y'all wanted to get together and go to the Hill, make an appointment with our, but I think it might be easier for us to bring our two here. Bring the doc and Carrie in here and let us just talk to them about some of these bills that we really want them to either support or to oppose. So, and Madam Chairman, that would be something that you could work on. And then the last, if there's any that we really feel strongly about, or really feel to support or to oppose, is to do a resolution from this body to the whole legislative group. So, but you should have got that. If you didn't, I can send it again. Okay.
I'd just like to add to that, Dr. Kumar is a member of the Education Committee in the House. So our representative, and he is on the Education Committee. Those bills all have to go through Education Committee before they get to the House floor. So if you don't mind calling about some of those bills, I'm going to be calling them. And also Senator Kerry, he's not on the Education Committee, but his vote is important as well.
On a little lighter note than that, I just want to remind everybody, Joe Burns Elementary had their large fundraiser that they hold every year last Friday that was snowed out. They had moved it to this Friday, the silent auction, live auction, barbecue plates. It's really a good thing, and that's their biggest fundraiser of the year. So if anybody could make it this Friday, hopefully it won't be snowing. If it is, we'll be trying to get out on Friday, try to get out and about.
Open bids on the topic?
Yes, I've asked the chairman to talk to Bill about that, but the bid opening is scheduled for Watauga for renovations for 2 o'clock on this Thursday at this office. 2 o'clock Thursday at this office.
In light of all the inclement weather we've had over the past 2 weeks, I know there was a couple of days that a lot of folks thought we could have gone to school, and we could have if we'd had a snow route policy. But our biggest hold-up and hookup was our buildings and grounds. I think we either need to come up with a contingency plan that, as quick as we can, get someone, which, Jimmy, you did a good job getting folks on it once you could, but I think that's something we need to do is have that we go on and get the snow and ice off the lots as quick as we can. But I also believe that GCA is laying down their end of the bargain. I believe it's in their contract that they're supposed to remove the snow or put the ice melting down on the sidewalks and entrances to the buildings. I think they worked at some of the schools, they worked on it, but they didn't hold up to their end of the bargain. And that's something we need to look at. And we're paying them money, big money for that. Made great calls on not going to school. I know that there are a lot of folks on Facebook wondered why we didn't, but children's safety is number one. What is one extra day in May concerned to safety? That's all I've got.
I would just like to inform you guys that Springville High School's mock trial team did compete the 13th and the 14th at the district level. We were able to pick up a lot of awards and recognitions, so we're very excited about that. And we did pass the district level, and we will be competing at the state level March the 27th and the 28th, so to invite you all.
I apologize for not mentioning that in my, I had that on my mind, but forgot to put it on my notes. And, Madam Chairman, members of the board, we would like to recognize them at the May meeting, if that's okay. We recognize the wrestlers tonight from Greenbrier, so we can bring that team in next month, if that's okay with you all.
Congratulations.
Madam Chairman, I think, Crystal, would you tell them the award that you personally won?
Yes, I won the Student Ending Award, which is a new one this year, which was given to all seniors who had been committed to mock trial 3 or more years of their high school career, and I also got Best Defense Attorney runner-up.
I guess I'd just like to say, I think the highlight of my day today was I went to Westside Elementary this morning and read Across America kickoff, and Channel 2 News was there. So if you will look, they did a little article on it at 4 o'clock, and I think they were going to it at the 6 o'clock news, but it was a very good positive thing for Westside. Also, I'd like to say, board members, we need to have a special called meeting next Monday, March the 9th at 5 p.m. to review and award a bid for the renovation of Watauga. So if you will keep that in mind, we'll meet next Monday at 5 o'clock. Anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor, make a note of saying aye. Aye.